Good morning to episode 9 of the Kleurendraad Knitting and Inspiration podcast. I'm recording here from my beach house here in Vught, Friesland, the Netherlands. And if you have been here with me before, thank you so much for coming back to me. And if you're new here, then I really hope that I can inspire you with patterns, with finished objects, with my yarn. Because I'm a hand dyer in Friesland and I work from home. I have my office and my dye studio here. And I have customers all over the world and I really love that. And this is the third time actually in a row that I'm recording every 2 weeks, and I hope that I can keep on doing that because I love it, really, I do. This morning I was really thinking, this morning I can do a knit talk with my handcrafters friends from all over the world, and I really enjoy that. And well, my husband is a good listener, but it's better to talk to somebody who knows what you're actually talking about, in a way of that feeling that you have when you're working, and then you know that tonight I can sit and cast on a new project with that color, and that can make me feel really happy. I love that feeling. So so I have finished objects a lot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finished objects, 5.5 actually. And so let's go into that. What I'm wearing is, I think you recognize it. It's the Illuminate sweater by Andrea Mowry. But I have to be honest, I'm not that kind of an angel that I make all these myself. Most of it, except for this one. But this sweater is knitted for me by Annemiek. And she's a customer of mine. And one day we really started to chat. And I invited her here to the beach house. She was here in August for a sleepover. And that was really nice, and she made this Illuminate sweater for me because I really wanted to take it with me to Fano, to the Strikken Festival, where I'm a vendor this year. So I'm gonna stand up so you can see it up close. Look at this. What a beautiful work by Annemiek. On Instagram, she is Goose Dolly, and I'm really loving it. I gave her the colors. And so I chose the colors, actually. It's swamp and rose mohair. And I think they go so well together. I have here. These are the... I didn't bring rose. Oh yeah, I have it on the skin. This is swamp. And it is a Suri sport. And Suri sport is... it's really a beautiful base in my web shop. I think, because I've knitted a few times with it now. And it's a Suri alpaca merino blend. And it's so soft. It doesn't itch at all. So it's very good to wear next to skin. What I'm doing right now. And because it's a non-superwash, the dye might surprise me sometimes. With some colors they break into the yarn, but in the case of this swamp color, it's nice because you have this gray spots on it. And the original sweater was knitted with spin cycle yarns, and those are all threads being dyed and then twisted together in the spinning machine. And but this is not spin cycle, but price-wise it's not spin cycle either. So I think it's a very good option. It has 300 meters in a skein and super soft, and they go very well with the mohair in the Illuminate sweater. And this is rose. So I combined those two together. Well, not me, but Goose Dolly. And so nice. I say Goose Dolly, and goose is a goose, like an animal. But then she was here, and I said, I keep calling you Goose Dolly. But then I looked at the name. I said, but it doesn't have an E. No, she said, it's Goos Dolly. And Goos and Dolly are her pets. So, but I can't get it out of my mind. Like, it's like when you read a book, right? I remember I read a series in the 80s, I think it was, and the main character was called Ayla. That's what I called her. But then my sister had read the book and she said, and about Ayla. I said, Ayla, who's Ayla? Ayla. So it's what you have in your mind, right? So with her I had Goose Dolly, and it's just Goos Dolly in Dutch. But anyway. So I have kits in the web shop now for this sweater. Andrea Mowry is the designer, as you know. And if you didn't know, then you know now. And she designed this sweater for the Rhinebeck event in New York, which will be in September, I think. And so half the knitting world is knitting this sweater now. And mine is finished, thanks to Goos Dolly. And so I have a few kits, and I have a Suri Sport in my web shop updated now. And here behind me you see all the colors that I carry, and at the moment. And but there's a few options that I gave. For example, here I have this beautiful, very bright mohair. I mean, this can go with anything here. And so I gave some options in the web shop. But if you think, okay, I see this mohair, they're not already listed. I think maybe next week, so maybe by the time you see this, they're listed. But I have always this option in my web shop for you to choose a color laken. That's the undyed version. And if you make a comment, I want this and that color, I saw an episode that and that. Or if you have something in mind, or you want the same color mohair as a tonal that you find, but there's no mohair, just let me know and I dye it for you. No problem at all. So this was the Illuminate sweater, and I love it. And it's supposed to be very hot today, but I thought, well, I have to wear it when I record. It's not that hot, first place. Second, it's not that hot to wear either. It's very light, but that's because of the mohair in between. And oh, I love it. I'm so thankful. And so I will hang it in my booth in Fano with all the kits that I have made. And look, when I just raise up my arm, the mohair will come out and the green is gone. That's because the mohair is thinner. It's knitted with a double thread, I'm not sure. Yes, double mohair. So she used up 2 skeins, a Suri Sport and 2 skeins mohair. The pattern says that you need 3 of each, but well, this is a size 4, so size 1 to 4 uses up 2 and 2 mohair, 2 Suri Sport, and 5 up you need 3. So I made this option in the web shop, so you can choose what size you want to wear, and you want 2 or 3 skeins. So yeah, that's that. That was my first finished object, not really by me, but anyway, I'm wearing it. And then the second, okay, I'll start with something small now. These are my socks, my Pina Colada socks that I made with the kit Pina Colada. I still have a few left, and it's 1 skein of laken, a sock skein, and there's 5 colors of kit mohair, and I knitted them together with the sock skein, and then you have this fade. Look at that. And I made 2. I'm so proud of myself. So 2 socks, buttery soft, and I think they're quite sturdy as well because of the Sockyarn, of course, but mohair also gives it a strength. So I use these when I go hiking. I wear them already 2 times. And I'm really anxious to know what the heel will do when they're in my hiking shoes. And yeah, so they will hang in Fano as well above the Pina colada sets. Look at these. I'm so proud that I finally made 2 socks. And I'm always a little bit struggling with the size, to be honest. I have 64 now here. But I think I can do 56 because I want my socks, I need them to be sturdy. I don't want to be to have floppy socks. That when I walk that the sock is living his own life. So I think I'm gonna start a 56. And this month my Erlbacher knitting sock machine is heading to my house. I ordered it a few months ago. I played with one before, but now I have my own and I love it, I think. So I can crank tubes and I can show you the yarn that I'm making. Excuse me, because I can tell you in advance there's something very exciting is coming. I'm working on it, it's almost finished. I take them with me to Denmark, but I will post them online before that, so you have a chance to snag yours as well. They are fantastic. And it's me. It's a little bit of me, Astrid, and it's a little bit of the Happy Kiwi Stitch Marker, Kylie, and it's a little bit of a new kind of dye method that I tried, and I really love what I did. Actually, it was a lot of work, but it's amazing. That's a clue, that's a clue. It's all about socks. Another clue, I mean, everybody needs to have a sock 1, 2 or 3 at the needles all the time. I was watching Knitting Natty yesterday. I love her podcast. She is so bright and she was a teacher as well. Not anymore, I think. She lives in New York now. And she, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, she's knitting everywhere. When she goes to the movies, knitting. When she goes for a holiday, she brings like 20 projects with her, and in the end she didn't knit a thing, but she knits everywhere. She knits when she's walking the dog, and well, I mean, that's New York, right? I cannot imagine that I'm doing that here. I mean, when I'm walking my dogs and I'm knitting, I probably break my neck because I cannot walk and look at something else as my feet and the road in front of me and the dogs running around me. If I do have to look at my work, I think I'm gonna break my neck. So well, but that's so funny. And she's knitting socks like crazy. And yeah, well, she goes to the movie I think a few times a week, and yeah, then you can knit up a lot of socks. But anyway, I haven't seen that here in Holland. People walking on the street while knitting. Let me know. Will you do that? Will you walk your dog or take a hike and bring your knitting and then walk and knit at the same time? I mean, I bring my knitting sometimes when I hike, but then I sit and relax and knit a bit and go on. But not when I'm walking. Let me know what you think about that. What do you think that you can knit a sock when you're at the movies? I mean, when you're walking your dog? Let me know. I really want to know what you think about that. And I try to comment back on you for that. So, yeah. So, these are my Pina colada socks. And they're so soft. And I love them. And then the next finished object, socks again. I mean, I made with the Bellish app, which I told you about last time, and a lot of podcasters talk about the Bellish app. I designed those 2 socks, and I'm not sure if you can see the color right. It's Piggybank and Vamp in one sock, and it's actually a fingering weight, the Sockyarn, taken double. I wanted to check that as well, and see, this is also loose again. So next time, I think I did 48 now. I looked also at the pattern that Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady has online now, a DK pattern, and I think she has 48. But again, I think I'm a loose knitter. I need to go on a smaller needle. So, but this sock, and I have two, so I can wear them as well. These are a little bit thicker, so I think I guess I have to wear them in my bigger boots. I only have to close up the toes here with a Kitchener stitch. So yeah, those two blocked and ready to wear. And then I told you about the Arctic spring sweater by the Petite Knitter last time in episode 8, and now it's finished. Actually, it's finished. I mean, look at those colors. Aren't they fantastic? I love it. And this is knitted with Highland DK, one of my new bases in the shop. And it's so bouncy and so soft and so non-itchy at all. And I compared it with Let Lopi last time, and I want to wear it, but it's too hot, so I won't. But these colors, I put them together in a little kit, and you can find that not in the kit section but in the Highland DK section. Because the good thing is that Highland DK in my shop is coming in 100 gram and 50 gram skeins. And that's awesome for your color work. So you don't have to buy all the skeins and you can use more colors. And that's this. Now I took the pattern from, and I told you about that last time. I had the pattern from the Petite Knitter. And she uses in the color work, I think, only 3 colors. I used 6. And then sometimes I just followed my own path. I thought I have to add in now green or add in pink, and orange is great next to this pink. So then sometimes in one row I had like 3 threads. And then I followed the Café Facette method, and I told you about that last time, the quick review again. So you take one color that you need the less stitches of. You take a long thread, you cut it, and then you keep on knitting, and the yarns are twisting and twisting, and then that one color you just pull out and lay it again and start knitting again. That's it. I mean, and look at this. And I call it the Café Facette method, but I know that Café Facette, you have to look him up, he is an amazing color designer and color work designer. And he does that all the time. He doesn't roll them on little fishes, or he just takes long threads and pulls them through his work. And this is a fantastic sweater. And I'm gonna stand up because then you can see the hem. It's a folded hem. You just sew it, and it's also under. And I bought a few skirts and nice colored panties, and so I'm gonna wear skirts and panties this winter with my cowboy boots and my hiking boots, and I love it. Now the sun is coming, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna close this, see what happens when I turn off this light. I think it's good enough now. So yeah. This is my Arctic spring sweater, and I already sold a few kits like this, so you can choose how many. So if you want to have the same colors, maybe even for a Jennifer Steinges sweater, or a Howie Locatelli colorwork sweater, or Caitlin Hunter, if they use DK, then you're good to go. If you want these colors, you just order the set. And for the main color, maybe you want a main color in pink or in green or in brown. Then you just add your wishes, how many you want. And then, I mean, I used 3 of the main color. And this main color is called Bellish, because all these skeins I named to characters of Outlander. and I've seen all the seasons already. And Outlander is one of my favorite series that I've seen. And so there is a Brianna, there is a Sassenach, there is a Lalibrach, there is a Jamie. I made more colors now, and I have to add them on the website as well. But there is a Claire, Fraser, and because Highland, I mean, then I think of Outlander. So that's why I called them. And it's not even from Ireland or Scotland, it's from Peru. But I don't know any serie in Peru that I don't know any serie in Peru that has names. I mean, I don't know any serie, so how can I name them? So, and then the last finished object, and I think that's quite enough now, is I think I'm gonna turn it back on. Or is it too light now? I don't know. It seems very over. I do it like this. I can't see it really. But it's another Junko Okamoto, and I love Junko Okamoto so much. And so I made another sweater, and I did it in 8 days. And this is the Acorn sweater by Junko Okamoto. And in Dutch, acorn, it sounds like a squirrel, like an acorn, but it's not, it's with an A. A-C-O-R-N. And this sweater is made, I'm not sure about the color. I'm gonna do something about it. And this sweater is made with my DK Tweed effect. And DK Tweed is a yarn with a 3-ply. And so a 3-ply, it has 2 non-superwash plies and 1 superwash. And superwash takes the dye, because that's treated, it takes the dye very intense, and non-superwash is untreated and has this scale still around the yarn. It takes the dye less. So what you have then is a tweed effect, and I brought the main color here, and maybe you can see it here, this tweed effect. And if you knit it up, then it looks, it's not a plain color, it looks like, yeah, like tweed, I think. And look at this sweater, look at the neck. And I will post some pictures. And maybe I can just wear it now. Hold on. Look at this. Look at this. I love it. I love the neck. I love the arms, not too wide, not too low up high, because if you make a yoke very low, then if you raise your arms, your sweater is coming up. When I was a teacher, I was always taking care of what I was wearing underneath, because when I was riding on the digiboard, my sweaters went up. I love this sweater so much. It's so light to wear, so very, it's a totally different DK than the Highland DK. This is much thinner, softer, and it's also different from the DK Merino that I have. This is the DK Merino that I used for the acorns here. And this is 100% superwash. Then I have the Highland DK, that's 100% non-superwash in 150 gram skeins. And then I have the Tweed Effect DK, it's superwash and non-superwash. And they're all so different. And as you can see here, I combined them together and they're so lovely. I mean, I flew through the needles. And this, you might think this is color lichen, undyed. But no, I dyed this and it's white winter. And if you see it next to an undyed skin, you can see the difference. This has like a snow yellowish glow on it. And this is also the Tweed Effect DK, and only if you look very close then you see that something is happening in the thread with the dye taken by undyed and dyed yarn. But it's so nice and so soft and so squishy as well. I love this sweater. Thank you, Junko, for making such a great design again. And I'm working on a new one as well. That might take me a little bit longer because it's very thin. I will show that to you later. But this, yeah, the Acorn sweater, and I love it. This is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th Junko Okamoto sweater, I think, and I'm working on number 7. In my boot in Denmark, I will have a whole area with all Junko Okamoto sweaters and their yarns underneath. So yeah, so if you're coming to Denmark, check that out. I mean, I think you love it. I love Junko Okamoto. So I can do this again now, because now I pull down the curtains here in the little beach house where the sun is coming in, and I think it's going to be nice weather for a swim today, because it might be the last weekend, because next weekend we will be off to Fano, and then my son and his friend will come here for 10 days to watch our dogs, which we have 4 of. And so I said to Mark, well, today I want to make the whole beach area very nice and clear, and because I don't want them to come here and think, oh, summer is over, now it's our turn. No, I want it to be perfect. So we're gonna work on that today, and we're gonna take the booth out of the barn. So I'm gonna start filling it this week with all the things I'm making for Denmark. So, works in progresses have a lot of that too. Now I have to fold my beautiful Illuminate sweater and put it there on the pile, finished objects, and I'm just struggling with the light. This better? I think this is better. So I keep it like this. And yeah, the first thing I showed you before, but I'm finally picking that one up, because I think my husband deserves it, but he can't help it that he's so big, and that sweaters are for giant size. And that is the Timberline sweater by Justin Timberlake. I wish. The Timberline sweater by Garrett. No, what's his name again? I can't remember. I will put it down. And I made 2 sleeves already, cabled sleeves. I think I've showed you before. So I have 2 sleeves ready. And now I'm working on the body. I'm thinking of the name. What is the man called? Not Justin Timberlake, but he works for Brooklyn Tweed, so it's a very common name. Can't stand it that I didn't write that down. But this is the body and the back and the front. So this is how far I've gotten, and so I had to set up. And setting up for cable work, I always find that very time consuming, and it took me about 2 weeks that I finally got the courage to say, Astrid, you're gonna set the cables up now so you can start knitting. And so I did. So you have to put a few stitches aside. This is, I think, for the board, and I have these funny little flops, like, I don't know what they're called. They're in Stefan and Penelope's shop. And I started the cable work. So, and I'm thinking, do I need to have... Here I am again. And so the camera stopped, so I have to see what part you heard or what not. But I'm not sure about my needle size, because I think that I think a cable should be very sturdy and stiff, and not sure. I see holes. So this is the band which I will probably knit up later, I hope, because otherwise we don't have a band. These are from Stefan and Penelope's shop. And so I finally start the main work. So I've put a marker. I have to put the marker where I'm at. I'm gonna leave the marker there. So next time I hope I can show you more cable work. And so far so good. So I told Mark that I will start knitting the body now, and he was really pleased. I mean, he's not the kind of man that asks a lot, but he asked for this sweater so many times. When will you be knitting my cabled sweater? When will you be? So now I thought, well, he's doing so many things for me at this moment. And right now he's washing the pants and he's building me a dry room, because the winter is coming and I cannot store the yarn anymore because it's too much. So we bought a dry room and he's fixing that behind my dye studio, and there will also be like the rinsing tables where we can wash the yarn, and a little storeroom. So I'm so happy he does that for me. So that's a work in progress. Jared Flott. There we go. That was the name of the designer. Not sure if I pronounce it right. Jared Flott, the Timberline sweater. So not just in Timberlake, but Timberline sweater. That was that, Jared Flott. Now the second work in progress. I'm not sure I have it in this cute. This is my 7th Junko Okamoto. And well, I have been looking. Oh, this is another very nice picture to. Oh, here we have a picture. I have been looking for a pattern for so long, and finally picked out this sweater. It's oversized. It looks very comfy, very cozy, and it's called the Igawa sweater by Junko Okamoto, the Igawa sweater. Now I was looking for something to knit up with my new purple color, and it's called Taste of Violet, and I dyed it in a Suri Sport, in Merino DK, and Baby Suri Alpaca, and Kidsilk mohair. And I was thinking of making a sweater with Suri Sport held together with Baby Suri Alpaca, because they're both so soft, they both have alpaca, and I thought, wouldn't that be nice? But I love this color so much. It's so nice and bright and intense, and I think it suits me. And so I started to swatch with Baby Suri Alpaca, and as you can see, the dye goes less intense in the Baby Suri Alpaca. So when you knit them up together, the color is still beautiful, but the intensity is gone, and I didn't want that. So I frocked it and I said, no, I have to keep this for something else, because I love this color as well. I made a textured sweater by Stefan West last year with, or the year before even, with Merino 4-ply and Baby Alpaca, and that was really nice. So I might combine this with Merino 4-ply. And so I used this color on its own for the Igawa sweater. And I didn't have much. Yeah, I started yesterday. We were watching a movie, and I couldn't. The movie was so good, and so I have this much, which is not much at all, but I love the color, and I love the fact that I'm making another Junko Okamoto. And my gauge was spot on. I mean, lately I started to doing gauging. So it was spot on. But I also knitted the plum sweater from Junko Okamoto, also with Suri Sport. And she usually has only one size sweaters, so you can make them bigger or smaller if you use another needle or other yarn. But I did exactly the same with sport weight, which is my Suri Sport is a sport weight, obviously. And it's turned so big, and it's like here on my shoulders. So I also always have to wear a t-shirt underneath because I don't like a drop shoulder. I mean, that's for my daughter now to wear it like that, not for me anymore. I don't like that. So I'm not sure if because when I look at this sweater, it's so, I mean, it's closed. The fabric looks so very nice. But so I should maybe have done it with baby Suri because then it's more closed. But then the color, I want to have something in this color only, not a few tones lighter. So, well, I have to look. I have to see. Maybe I change to a smaller needle and see what happens, because I think it's too open and too wide now. Even though the gauge is spot on, I want it not to be too drapey. It needs to be a little bit firm, you know what I mean? I mean, when you look at the picture, I can almost see what it feels when you wear it. Such a nice picture. It's a nice, comfy, oversized sweater, and you can hardly see that it's knitted. So I think I'm gonna have to change my needles. Oh, do I have to do it all over again? Don't think so. I'm not that much of an angel. So I think I will just continue. But the color Taste of Violet is my new favorite color. So that's something what I work on. Then I finished only one sock, so that's a half finished project, and that was my what was it called again? I don't have the tag here. Lemon cheesecake, I think. And look at this little nice sock. Well, I have to get a blocker. Wait, I take one of these off. And yeah, I think they are too big. This one I put on the blocker so you can see it, and you can see that I made only one sock, and I love the colors together. Look at this. Don't you like this sock? I mean, I have seen a few on the internet already because it was a sock set with minis. And yeah, I think, and this was 64 as well. But next time I will do 56, I think. Or I have to use smaller needles, but then I poke myself because I use higher sharps, and then my fingers are starting to hurt. Look at this sock, and I'm only this far. I cast on immediately for the second one. That's what they say. If you have a hard time doing two socks, so you end up sitting with like only one sock off and then a few, you have to cast on immediately for the next sock, which I did. So then you can easily grab it with you and start knitting on it again. If you don't do that, then this sock might end up very lonely. So, yeah, that was the sock. There's more. Only one more. Only one more. I'm not even sure. Ah! This is the Powderwrap by Casapinka. And it's a huge shawl in DK, and I had this color, and it's called this was called Kleur, I think, and I started knitting on it because I loved the color so much. It's kind of a coral color, and so I started the shawl, and it's a really easy pattern, and yeah, I'm gonna finish this one because I like the color. And I think when I block it, it will turn more soft. And this is knitted with my Highland DK, which is also in the Arctic spring sweater. So I think when I'm wearing this one, when it's finished, so I am a product knitter. I want everything to be finished. Look, these two together and then this shawl, and I think it will look nice. So I'm working slowly but sturdy on this one as well, and might finish it, I don't know when, but soon, because I want everything to be ready. And I make so many new colors now that I want to knit with all of them. Yeah, I think that was it for my works in progress, if you please. But I think I've showed you a lot. So, but I'm very happy with it, and I hope I can show you more in 2 weeks. It might be 3 weeks because we're going to Fano. And speaking about Fano, I try to film every day about the scenery, about the beautiful tradition there, and about the shows, and the island, and my boot, and the people. And then when I come back, I make it into a nice movie so you can have a taste of the Strikken Festival as well. And it's the last one, so I have to film it. What else? Yes, there was one more thing that I wanted to show you or talk with you about. And that is the mystery knit along from Stephen West, the Charlography, which starts the 8th of October. And if you're not aware of that, you might think, why is she talking about? And it's only starting the 8th of October. Because the kits for this Charlography are worldwide on the internet now. Every dyer, every store is making kits for this Charlography because Stephen West does such a great job with this. What it is that you buy the pattern, you get it the 8th of October. First you get a confirmation that you bought it, and the 8th of October the first clue comes. It's a mystery, so you don't know what's gonna come. And then you start knitting. You have 1 week to finish that part, and then the second clue comes. And then if you just follow the clues, then at the end of the month you have this huge shawl. And I didn't participate last year, but boy, I felt sorry because I was so jealous about all the shawls that were knitted. And I sold a lot of kits for that, and I saw that shawl coming with my colors and that, and I loved it. So this year I made kits again. They're online already, and they might even go to Minneapolis to Stephen B. He wants to sell them too, so I keep you posted before that. But I made kits and I only brought a few, and I take this one. This one is Poem Without Words. So what it is you need 5 fingering weight yarns. And Stephen says you need, so if you want to make your own kit, and I mean, I have to, oh, the light is coming into the kit, now you can see it. You need a dark color, you need a mid color, and you need a light color. Then you can use a little bit of a speckle and a color that pops it out. Now, see it for yourself. What do you think I did for dark, medium, light, for a speckle and a pop? I mean, if you like bright colors, then yeah, you should go for this one. And when you also have to think of is when you buy a kit here or wherever you, or maybe you have stash that you want to use up, that the colors have to all go together. So, and I mean, these can all go together. They look fine because you never know what Stephen says what you have to do. So here, this is more of a brown, but you need that pop. That makes your shawl going be different from others. And no fear of perfection is this kit. Look at this. And here's your speckle. This is obviously your pop, the California in the sun. And the green, brown. I mean, this kit is nice. Also, I only bought 3. I have, I think, 8 kits online now. This brown, light, pop. This is it. Well, if you order your kit next week in the Kleurendraad shop, they will ship when I come back from Fano. That will be mid-September. But I assure you that when you buy your kit, you have it in time for that the mystery knit-along starts, which will be the 8th of October. So if you order it, secure it, because I only have so many yarn in stock, and they fade out. So when one kit is sold out, it's not to be seen anymore in the web shop. And yeah, if you want to buy it now, I probably can send it next week, and otherwise it will come after the 20th of September. But then you make sure that you have your kit and you don't have to worry about that anymore. So they fly already. Tomorrow is a big shipment, and probably Wednesday is the second one and the last one before I come back from the Strikken Festival in Fano. That was it. I think I showed you a lot of things, and I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope seeing you next time. Let me know if you're participating in the knit-along, and how you chose your colors. I mean, what is your favorite dark color? Did you buy it because you want your favorite to be dark, to be that color? Or I have to take a sip. Excuse me. I do that. So let me know. Let me know if you're going to the Strikken Festival, and if so, I know that the customers from Denmark, Germany and Holland are going. I do know you by your Instagram name, but I don't know what you look like for real. So tell me your Instagram name when you meet me at the booth, and then we can have this little chat, I hope. And yeah, I hope I can see you there. I'm in the bazaar tent. Not sure exactly where, but Wednesday we're gonna build, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday the festival starts, and I love it. Hope seeing you there in Fano. If not, hope seeing you when I get back with all my stories. And again, if you need a kit for the mystery knit-along, order it now. It will ship Wednesday at last, and then that's the second shipment, and then they will be picked up. And then if you order after that, it will come to you after the 20th. Goes for any other orders as well. But I will pronounce it on the web shop that I will be away for a week and a half, and then your order will ship after that. Thanks so much for enjoying my yarn, because I know you really do. And you help me grow my business, which I love so much. And yeah, for wholesale I have still a spot left. And so if your favorite yarn store wants to carry my yarn, let them know that I have a spot. The turnaround is usually like 2 weeks, and then I deliver, and I love it that more and more people, especially in the US, are getting to know my yarn. And I see my yarns next to hedgehog fibers in the shop and Melintosh, and I love it. So proud of it. So thanks for watching again, and I see you next time. Bye bye.